Welcome to another stream. If you're watching on YouTube, as always, please give it a like. I'd appreciate it. It's Collapse Mines today, the new featured location. And we are going to be building the very best decks imaginable. That's the plan. To win cubes, farm victories. And I'm going to see maybe how high I can get my rank this season. Because, like, I could just try hard for the rest of the season. We're like rank 120 or so. I've not been trying really. Been playing lots of jank decks. We're going to play, definitely Sandman. Sandman seems like the man. But I also want to start with a version of Sandman which doesn't play Shuri. Perhaps. So other people can play it. Although I do think Shuri is just kind of crucial in Sandman. So. First cards in a Sandman deck are Chavez. So I do want to try and get this Onslaught card in a nice deck. But anyway. We're going to start with Chavez. We're going to put Psylocke in the deck for sure. Now, what we've also recently realized, maybe we do end up playing Shuri still, but like she's not going to be as... It's going to be more of a deck aimed at people that don't have Shuri, so you can still play it. I think I still want to play her because I want to climb. But we're going to play Wong, Sandman, Psylocke, Zabu. We're going to probably put like flipping Jubilee in here perhaps. Sandman's just a very nice option with Wong. With being able to play things like Doom. Leader even. Now She-Hulk also makes a lot of sense. Maybe we just end up playing the same deck to start off with. Let's just start the day with the same deck. This is not a super noob friendly deck. But later on in the video, if you're watching on YouTube, there's going to be more noob friendly decks. But this deck is kind of just a vibe for me. I'm really enjoying it a lot. No Zabu, please. I mean, this is a Zabu deck, but it's only Zabu because it's supposed to be anti-Zabu. It's an anti-Zabu deck. The sad reality is that means we have to play Zabu playoff. Feels bad. Like, it's not an actual Zabu deck, right? It's like a fake Zabu deck. Does that make any sense? Now, another thing I was thinking about for this location is if we play Armor. Like, imagine we played Armor here, right? Imagine we just randomly played Armor. So we just skip this turn. Like imagine the location comes on the third one, you just slam an Armor. It's kind of OP. This location's bad for us. Hey Enver. Hey Assassin, what's up? I'm still a bit late to my stream, later than I'd like. I wanted to go to the gym this one, but I didn't have time, so I went for a long walk. Yeah, definitely should be good. That's for sure. And if Death's good, so is our Man of Sand. Now, we're going to play the Wong and Shuri into this location because this is the location we're not going to fight for. We definitely want to play Doom. The question then is, what's better, Panther or Doom? I mean, Shuri's playing for... Doctor Doom's going to be 20 points. So I'll tie this location, whereas Panther's 16. So Shuri's a lot better. Oh wow, it's so good for us. If I could snap again, I would. This is a huge mistake from our opponent, giving us an extra turn. Now, if they were to storm Limbo here or something, I lose. Nice one, Assassin. Yeah, I definitely think Lady Sif and Ghost Rider is a bait. I would not recommend it. Hey, Feldy, great to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Now, the reason we play Doctor Doom here and we don't play Zola is because Doctor Doom here beats Shang-Chi. It also beats Aero because, like, they might expect Taskmaster and they could Aero the Gamma Lab, for example. It beats Leader because of the Wong. So I am pretty keen to look at this deck without the Shuri. The issue is there's just really a lack of good 4-drops. We could go like Jubilee. Hey, Orth. What are you playing instead of Lady Sif and Ghost Rider? Just like Rockslide and another 4-drop. If you've got Absorbing Man, Rockslide, Drac. If you don't have Absorbing Man, you're going to need like an extra card. But yeah, Lady Sif and Ghost Rider is actually a huge bait. This loses to Aero middle. It does, but that would be a pretty illogical play, to be honest. Aero middle loses to Taskmaster. So we beat the Shang-Chi and we get the cube farm. And this is how we're just farming 8 cubes of this deck so often. Of course, with the Sandman, this is just cleaning up. Do you think deserve a buff? What, Sandman? You could buff Sandman, but you could buff it by a point. Definitely no more. I think honestly Sandman's pretty fine. We can Mashira set up? I don't think so. I don't know. I heard about this story last night. I haven't read about it too much. What do you think? Is this deck worth playing without Shuri? You see, that's the thing. I wanted to try, and I'm keen to try this deck without Shuri. The deck's going to look very different. What we can take a look at it. My feeling is no. My feeling is no, to be honest. Because Shuri is a 4-drop that synergizes with Wong. It synergizes with a lot of the big cards as well, right? Highest Benitez and Fox offers a last minute thing to the fans. Brilliant. We actually won our footy game last night. A little 2-0 win. Pretty nice. Been very much enjoying it. It's my first time playing in years. I'm just in goal. It's not much exercise, but yeah, mate. It's good. I feel like I'm getting pretty decent. I still don't feel confident enough to bloody catch the ball though. So the issue here is if I was to Wong Panther and then Zola. It wouldn't quite work out for us. Double Sunspot's rather scary. Brilliant. We just arrow to the right. 16 points there. Am I losing if they just play nothing? I probably should have checked first. 24. I actually am. I would wager they probably go for that line too. We might lose to this also. I think we probably get them just about. Maybe they did the maths. They did not do the maths, cool. Whew. We got pretty lucky here. We lost if they played nothing. Welcome on, welcome all. If you're watching on YouTube, please give the stream a like. We're on 3 likes right now. Thank you. Guys, it's actually neck and neck. We're on 77 viewers on both Twitch and YouTube. Pretty impressive. Is it worth getting Arlem Zola for Token Shop? I have Shuri and all the other stuff you have instead of She-Hulk. I mean, if you've got all the other cards in this deck, I would say yes. Otherwise, no. Imagine we had armor here, guys. And the featured location shows up. It's kind of insane, right? You can just play armor to the right here. And if they don't play anything, you just win. Because the rocks can't get destroyed. And you have points there. Holy moly. Not bad. Can I snap again, please? We could probably skip turn 5 and just slam Doom mid. I struggle to see how that would lose. Because it's 10 points to the left and to the right. And it is... what? 20 points mid, I think. Does this stop the rocks getting destroyed? Thank God for that. I wasn't sure. Okay, this play from them to put the vault here is pretty problematic. But it's fine. It just means we're just not going to get as many cubes as we were hoping for. We just slammed the Doom now. Obviously, I wanted to play the Doom on the last turn for the surprise value. If you're planning on getting She-Hulk, yeah, I would say Zola's probably worth it then. If like this is a deck that you're interested in playing, this is a very, very good deck. So but as you can see, no Shuri. Is it really going to work out? I'm leaning towards no. Yeah, She-Hulk, of course, dropping down to Series 3 on the 31st. Only 6 days away. That's when we're getting Battle Mode 2. So very, very close to that. I'm very excited. We're going to be running some tournaments and stuff. Of course, in like 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I'm going to be in New York. I think my flight is 2 weeks tomorrow. 1, 2, 3 weeks tomorrow. It'll be my first time leaving Europe. Apart from Brexit. It's actually not funny. I've been thinking about do we go for the raft? Nah. It's a weird old play, innit? We play nothing. Or just go Panther Zola. New York City, baby! The Big Apple. Great crack over there. Let's go, Eric. My one of my friends I was with last night actually mentioned there's a bunch of cool Irish pubs over there. I mean, I don't really know what's going on here. Let's just play Doom so we don't randomly lose to some dodgy Shang-Chi gamer. Ah. Wait. What? How did they manage to build a flipping Agatha deck which played nothing but Invisible Woman? I am confusion. Hello, Jorgen. No, I'm very excited. Like I say, first time leaving Europe. But yeah, I've also been looking. I think like I've been wanting to move for a long time, right? And I've been pretty keen to move abroad somewhere. The big problem with that is the Brexit. It's made it very difficult. So I've been looking at some places to move in the UK, and the UK is very, very expensive, and the south of the UK in particular. So I've been looking at Bristol a lot because I have a couple of very good friends that live there from like real life. But I'm sort of starting to warm to the idea of moving back up north. I do love the north in general. I lived in Liverpool for 5 years. So I don't want to move back to Liverpool particularly either. So I can go Wong, She-Hulk, Zola, or something like that. So Manchester's probably the most likely at the moment. I don't really know Manchester particularly well though. Okay, that's a card. I'm gonna run. Even though I have the nice setup, we lose to Shang-Chi here. So guys, I'm hoarding credits. I'm not opening my boosters, rather. I'm not hoarding my credits, I'm still upgrading my cards. I'm a bit late to the party on this one, but better late than never. Manchester's where it's at. No, I'm definitely not buying Dazzle, no way. So, yeah, maybe Manchester. The reason like Manchester is kind of nice is it's close to Liverpool, which is my favourite city in the world. My little brother lives in Liverpool. The football team I support are obviously based in Liverpool. But I'm also not moving back to the city I lived in for 5 years at uni. Only saved 3 chests. I'm alright. Mate, I was struggling to resist the temptation to hold on to them. I'm a dopamine addict, mate. I just love the the sauce. The saucy feeling of dopamine hits. HGK. But I figure I can still get the dopamine hits by opening my boxes, right, without it mattering too much. Like, this is how broken Zabu, guys, is, right? I've played my Psylocke, which was previously, like, one of the best ramp cards in the game early on, right? I played my Psylocke on 2, so I can now go Wong Shuri by turn 4, which is insane. But even though I've ramped, my Zabu is literally giving me Wong Shuri on turn 4 anyway. And then more upside later. Like, the card is so busted, it's unbelievable. Oh, it's not because of fucking... Okay, I fucked up. Because of Lemura. I thought... It's still true, though. Okay, I just fucked up. It's early in the morning, ladies and gents, alright? I'll just retreat to save face. This never happened. Okay, I want to split my Sandman, so I'm going to refill one set of missions. Zabu should be 4 cost, I think. I think that probably makes him much more reasonable. Again, then you'd be able to Psylocke into Zabu as well and still get him on turn 3. So I still think the card would be insanely good. Like, there's no doubt Zabu should be 4 cost the more I think about it. That's probably going to be today's video, is do like a balance change video. I'm going to work on after the stream. In fact, we can probably start working on it during the stream. I must say, I do like the look of the hand. The main concern is Dream Dimension. Not having a card to play there. You definitely wouldn't need to buff its power, I don't think. You could even lower its power, to be completely honest. How do you nerf Shuri? 5 energy. I think 5 energy makes her much more reasonable in a lot of departments. So they snap. I don't mind too much. I'm not going to snap back because I don't have a card to play on 5. But Sandman stops their death going through. Like Death Wave. And we're just going to slam Doom here. Jorgen and Fidden, can we please keep it English only in the chat just because... Yeah. I don't know, I still don't know how I feel about this rule. I don't really want it to be English only, but I'm not going to snap them here. It should be a win though. Dude, where is Gwent? Nice, this is a win. Feels bad that I didn't snap though. But I figured at this point they might run away if I snap. If you weren't streaming, what would you do for a living? If I can make a joke, you look like the kind of guy you call to fight. Okay. Like as in like a fighter? I'll take that. A teacher. I was teaching before I streamed full time. So I have a degree in education. Like a primary teaching degree. So yeah, definitely teaching. Thinks I look like a hooligan. Uh-oh. I'll also take it. Teaching street fighting. I'll take it. I'll definitely take it, mate. I've never really had much muscle on me. This is the most muscular I've ever been. Although, give me a year. And I would wager that I'll be even more muscular. Easy. Are we getting, Are we getting Galactuston on? How old am I? 26. The issue is if I go Wong Shuri, I'm ahead of them. I guess I can go Wong Shuri and then... Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, I kind of fucked up a bit, let's be honest. I can go Wong Shuri Doom. Would that win me Shuri's Lab still? I go Panther Zola. I figure it's Panther Zola, right? Are you hoping to buy Everton? I don't know. I don't think Everton are actually being sold. I think it was a bit of fake news. They might play Aero, which would beat us. I really doubt they play Shang-Chi. Sarah's a pretty interesting idea in Agatha. I like the sound of it, actually. So you can have a bunch of... They probably play 2 4-cost cards here. Because you don't want to play any 3s that aren't Wave or... I mean, I don't actually like the sound of Sarah. It's basically like a Zabu. Okay, they play a fucking Shang-Chi and Agatha. What are you going to do? Who plays Shang-Chi in Agatha? Okay. GG. Okay, Fidan. And Jorgen. Please, can we relax a bit? I feel a bit bad because you guys are just chilling. I'm sure it's harmless, but... We have to keep the chat as English only just because I can't otherwise moderate it, guys. Sorry! Do you think I can stay up? Hopefully. They don't know English. Rip. I feel bad, man. He's saying have a small PP. I mean, he's not wrong. Wait, what? What deck did I used to get to Infinite? Zabu. If no Zola and Shuri in this deck, well, I don't think so. I'm kind of intrigued at looking at Sandman without Shuri, but my honest feeling is it's just not going to be very good. We can make it work still, but I think it's going to just be, like I say, significantly worse. The main concern is Aero. I am loving this deck. I am loving this deck a lot. Cheers, I hope Sam Smith like doesn't show up. Oh god. They could Aero us this turn as well, but it's not really a massive issue if they do that. Absolutely hate Zabu for me, and it's just my experience. Zabu is one of the worst cards in the deck. I've literally won more games. Zabu is the most broken card ever. The key to Zabu is just if you you build your whole deck around the card, And if you draw it, you snap, and if you don't, you fold. That's literally all you have to do. Nice. This looks like a huge win. Yeah, we do need to be a little bit careful of aero, though. They could aero us mid to beat... Aero mid beats us if we go Taskmaster, but it loses to Zola. So this very much looks like they're playing Shang-Chi. The issue we have is that they might be able to play Shang-Chi and another card. Pretty close. I think we just lose, right? Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm underestimating... so the mistake I made here was I underestimated how OP death is of this location, right? Zola was losing. Taskmaster's losing. Aero's just winning. In fairness, if Aero died here, wasn't I winning? I haven't made any tweaks to this deck. I just figure that Sandman should be really good today because of all the death players, right? My issue is I was almost never drawing Zabu. Yeah, you just leave if you don't pull him. But that's also why, like, you play Chavez, right? Chavez, if you play Chavez, you're drawing Zabu like about 55% of your games. Maybe add Leech because a lot are playing Death. Yeah, well, we have Sandman. Sandman counters Death. So I just needed to... This is my first... I lost 8 cubes to a Death player. They caught me off guard, right? With this location. I underestimated how cheap Death was going to be. Death OP featured location. Why not change She-Hulk for Death today? Yeah, we could. We could still add Death ourselves, it's true. We wouldn't probably replace She-Hulk. Probably just replace Red Skull. I mean, maybe we should. I can actually definitely see it. Guys, what is going on in the chat, mate? I don't like my chances. We're not really giving them that many good cards. The Red Skull isn't great. It's like 9 points. The She-Hulk's 10 points the last turn. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, this is so... Come on. What the fuck? Yeah. Okay. Okay, dude. Seems very reasonable. Very logical play, mate. Definitely not sus. Snapping the turn they Cosmo my Wong. Ah, and also the Iron Man in the turn I play Red Skull. That's pretty good predictions from our opponent there. That is some pretty good predictions, mate. They must be very good at the game. Right now. Whatever. Oh, I was losing to this demon. Guys, I've been listening on repeat this morning to Turn Your Lights Down Low by Bob Marley and Lauryn Hill. My god, it is so fucking good. Cannot recommend it enough. Dalit Sabi deck, I mean, this deck is definitely worse than the Big Boys deck, I would say. This isn't really a Zab. This is not... I want to be clear that this is not a fucking Zabu deck. Zabu should not be in this deck. It's just so broken that it is. You know? That's the issue here. You have so much respect for me. Thanks. This is supposed to be not a Zabu deck. But unfortunately, it's a Zabu deck. I must never snap. I lose far too often. Even when I try Zabu, I Zabu and Frey, I don't snap. Yeah, but like that's probably why it's not going so well for you, right? Like you've got to snap, man. You've got to snap when you're winning. That's how you climb. If you're not snapping when you're winning, you're gonna not climb. Simple. Okay, so they can open one card. They probably have another dino. Which unfortunately we're just losing to, aren't we? Alright, let's build a different deck for a bit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. With all the deaths going around, Leech seems like a solid option. We can maybe let's play a bit of this Thanos deck actually. Been very much enjoying this. So this is the latest iteration with a Spider-Man. We could whack Death in this as well, just because it's like probably good. Maybe bin off a Koye and just put Death in for today, right? I do like this variant, but honestly, my Pixel... I somehow prefer my Pixel variant. Is that weird? Oh. Feel bad that I'm using Pool 6 cards mainly, but we'll check out some Series 3 decks and stuff in a bit. What's a good deck with Death? I just got around, I don't have lead up. I mean, you can just put Death into basically any deck at this moment in time. I would wager that like Mind Stone turn 1 is probably snap worthy. I'm not going to though. This just suggests they don't play Killmonger, which is good news for us. This is very good for us. Oops, I shouldn't have put the Power Stone there, right? It's me being a bit silly. We need the Power Stone to actually survive. Nice. We can move a card in with the Space Stone. Spidey's a turn late. $15. 16, 17 points. We lose to leader because their sunspot's growing by 2. But we have the blue marvel. We're playing 15 points. Yeah, we beat this. Nice. Mate, this Spider-Man is dirty, innit? I can't lie. We also leeched them, right? So we don't have to fear the task monster there. Nice, that's really good for us. They saw the M'Baku and they thought, wow. I mean, Galactus is also really cool. I think the only issue with Galactus is its interaction with Death and Null. Just make I think Galactus is great. It's just the issue with Galactus really is it's too powerful for what it actually does. Honestly, like Subterranean is probably snap worthy for us because I have such a big deck. It's less likely to punish us. I really don't like the idea of just like Killmonger, for example, with this. Like, bragging about his decks as well, Jack. Okay, pretty scary.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
We can arrow them on the last turn. I guess I should have gone... This is a misplay on my part. I should have gone... Thingy here, something else here. It's fine though. We just arrow them and play the onslaught to the right, innit? Yeah, we can play the death, of course. We could lose to Jubilee. I don't like that the featured location synergizes with Death, but apart from that, it's cool. Guys, I kind of just want to see how high I can get my score this season. Does sound pretty fun.
Breaking news. Oh, snap.
I got null 3 times in a row from Raft. Get to 200. It would be nice. Just be a bit of a statement, innit? I mean, I could get a lot higher if I started tryharding sooner as well. That's the thing. Snapping turn 1 with leader deck? Yeah. We can leech him. My hand's nice. I think we just snap with Mind Stone in hand usually. Where's M'Baku gonna jump to? Well, if there's no room for him, we're probably winning anyway, innit? Let's just feed our death a bit. Board space is a bit of a precious commodity here. Oh wow, very precious commodity. We can snap here. Yeah, I figure like just getting to a higher rank is probably worth it for my quote-unquote brand. Because then more people will realize I'm actually quite good at the video game, right? Whereas I think like it's quite difficult to tell who's actually good otherwise. You know what I mean? Little bit concerned about how I'm actually going to win Savage Land or Death's Domain. Is it ever possible I should Spider-Man this lane to the right instead? Code Deco boys? I haven't. I think it's definitely like you're I can actually see this being the line. I doubt they play right this turn.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
Cool. Beautiful. I mean, Kazar is the obvious choice. Yeah, we always play on Baku. The question is, do we play Soulstone and stuff? I guess we do. We're not really scared of leader particularly. Like if they, I guess if they leader, we're losing anyway. To the right. So we should just play the Soulstone. I guess. I don't really know. Nice, Leech is a really good card draw there. Ah, that's unfortunate. I haven't watched Last of Us, but I will be watching it for sure. Okay, guys, I think we've got a split ready for our Sandman. We do. It's our second split. Yeah, so it's not likely to be anything great, but still. Speci, do you want me to draw you as leader? Did someone offer you money? Oh, mate. Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you, if you don't mind. I'm definitely down. Yeah, the original does have a gold sort of background. I'm pretty interested to see what the gold background would look like on the variant. Excuse me. Nice one. No rush, Broken Boy. That's really kind of you. Thanks, mate. Sounds exciting. So yeah, guys, I'm going to start looking at flats in maybe Manchester. I feel like otherwise I'm never going to fucking move out, right? I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think Raven, the Snap streamer, lives in Manchester as well, so I might ask him for some advice of nice spots. I think montage is pretty bad for us. I guess we can use it to draw some cards. If the rock showed up, they were trying to cheese us with rocks, but we would actually still be winning because of Blue Marvel. So let's go Space Stone and Reality Stone. This only moves once, but we'll draw 2 cards. So we do also need to play this, therefore. So I'm drawing 2, 3. So in theory, you could also play M'Baku. The issue is it just fills up the board with jank. I guess we go here because I can move one of these cards away to the left. Okay, it's actually pretty good for us. Board space is a precious commodity in it. We do have the option of going Storm still. I don't hate it. Like, Storm to the right seems kind of reasonable here, particularly because I have a Khazar. I quite like it. I think we can then just Spider-Man. I'm going to snap to it. We're going to just Spider-Man Elaine. There's a Discord, Broken. I have a Discord. I'm gonna be like tomorrow. One of my objectives is to set up loads of stuff for the YouTube stream. Like I'm gonna set up the restream thing. I'm not streaming tomorrow, guys. By the way, I'm sticking to my original plan of Thursdays on my day off streaming. Thanos managed to get his power buff before they got us, which is pretty insane. Oh mate, I would have been able to play Death and a card if I held on to her. Kind of surprised the Thanos still goes through. Gonna have to read his ability next game. I'm not from Manchester, no, not. So Manchester's in the north of England. I'm from the south of England, but my dad's side of the family are from the north of England, but from Liverpool, which is like 40 minutes away from Manchester. I actually don't really know Manchester well, but that's also like why I want to move there maybe and not move to Liverpool again. Like I can definitely see myself living in Liverpool when I'm older, like for sure. But I lived there for 5 years already, right? Like, it would be such a cop-out from my point of view to go to university in Liverpool, move home for like 4 years, and then go back to Liverpool. That just seems like not the move. Come to London. I mean, I live not far from London, but I don't really like London that much in general. My heart's definitely in the north, and also it's so flipping expensive in London. It's a similar reason as to like why I'm like Bristol's been on the radar, but I don't love the idea because it's like pricey, and I don't really like the south as much as I like the north. So I don't know. I think like Manchester's just like a logical option. Like a big concern I've had, to be honest with you guys, for a long time about moving is I want to move somewhere I know lots of people, but I mean, Power Stone into Altar of Death just seems good. Get a bit of ramp action going. I'm definitely liking the look of Reality Stoning Limbo on the last turn. It's pretty obvious though as well. We should snap with the fact we have Quinjet in here, right? Power Stone is the reason Thanos got buffed, not Thanos himself. Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks. Definitely a bit of a heartbreaker, that. We're drawing Chavez. So we don't need to play Death here.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
And we just go. They might have double Death, but we just go Death, Lockjaw, Reality Stone. Should be a win. It's a tie. Tie! Pretty unlucky we didn't win there. $10K is the credits limit. Do we play the Mind Stone? I guess we just skip the turn. Nah. We can still win this lane, like with the rocks there.
Wind, aid my hand.
Pressure snapped already. Hey, no, what's up? Yeah, 10K's limit. Yep. If I didn't say that already, thanks. Dr. Octopussy. Okay, so if they have Silver Smurfer, they're at 10. I'm only at 9. So we lose to Surfer, but Red Skull. I guess also if they play nothing, I'm losing to Sunspot still, right? I'm playing 6 points mid, but we'd lose to Tiebreaker. So we lose to Surfer, we lose to them playing nothing. Pretty sad overall. The Reality Stone play was a mistake on reflection. Yeah, we lose, unfortunately. We have to learn some valuable lessons from this game. Skipping a turn would have been a nice option, right? Time Stone on turn 1 seems very nice. Means we can lockjaw on 2. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, if you could get the stream on, like, that'll be awesome. Thank you. No pressure though. Thanks, Broken Boy. Okay, that was a bit weird. It's pretty bad overall that Sinister London shows up. Where do we move Lockjaw? I actually think we just leave Lockjaw and we just storm the lane, I think. To be honest.
Wind, aid my hand.
We could have also just played one of these cards to the left just to beat the Professor X. Could have just put the M'Baku left still. Any plans to update the deck spreadsheet? Good question. Not really, if I'm honest. My very kind mods were doing it, but it's not so... Mate, I need to find time to do some shit, man. I have no bloody time for anything right now. It's insane. So yeah, tomorrow I'm taking the day off, but like, I'll be honest, it's like not on my priority list. One thing I could maybe do is stop just uploading. No problem at all. Like, one thing that I could do in that regard is I can just start uploading my decks to like Marvel Snap Fan or Marvel Snap Zone or Snap Fan, and then it just does it automatically, right? It's probably a better way of doing things, and it's much easier for Noir. Hey Anton, just because of the hot location, like, death is now costing me 1. So compound's good for us. We draw 2 cards this way. We should go Time Stone first, so we don't hit like subterranean. We draw 2 cards. And we still draw another card in hand, so we're not overfilling. That's very good for us. Storm's a pretty bad draw here, unfortunately.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here. Clear for takeoff.
Okay, should be a win. Killmonger, of course, is a concern. Cool. Yeah, M'Baku's amazing in this deck. Absolutely. It's a 17 card deck. This is the deck for M'Baku where he's actually insane. Most decks M'Baku is not worth it, but this is it's a 18 card deck. You can play M'Baku into your Lockjaw lane on the last turn and he just comes back, right? It's just like a no-brainer. Like Arrow M'Baku finisher is just OP as hell. And yeah, we definitely do. You guys are right in saying that we should just play like Killmonger doesn't exist. That would be the correct approach there. Yeah, the other thing is, like, what you'll probably find is it's pretty difficult to climb on if you're a beta player compared to like a non-beta player. Like, because there's different pools of matchmaking, I would wager that it's quite a lot easier to climb if you're not in the same pool of players as, like, the one that I'm in, like Jeff's in, Raven's in. Why is it Darkhawk? It was not Darkhawk. I don't have Darkhawk. It was just Abu Big Boys with Dracula Jubilee. I was just playing it before everyone else. And weirdly, I'm still not getting net decks. People are playing Sith Ghost Rider, and that deck is so much worse than the one I built a long while ago. Kind of triggers me a bit. This turn's pretty bad for us, I guess. I guess we play the Spidey, but it's like, really.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
Okay, we got the Spidey back again, which is what we were hoping for.
Aid my
Okay, we don't even need the Spidey anymore. Let's move the Lockjaw away. How are we winning this lane? Maybe we're just not. Unfortunately. Move Lockjaw. Then we get rid of Cosmos. Nice, good start. And we need Kazar. Beautiful. Huh? How does that work? Oh god, I think we might be winning mid, guys. I think we're winning mid. We lose to Surfer, but are they really going to be going for Silver Surfer here? Maybe they are. Maybe I should have just slammed Chavez. Oh, for God's sake. So was Chavez winning here? I think it was, yeah. 4 points more. I have 4 points more. Yeah, and I win the tiebreak. Fuck. Heartbreaker. Yeah, Leech, true. Yep. The Spider-Man was a misplay. I should have just gone for the Leech. You're right. Most certainly right. I threw this game. I did not need the Spider-Man in the Lockjaw lane, right? With all the big cards in deck. I want to upgrade something. 400 creds. Hey Ragnar, it's good. 10:34 time for Hazmat. I'm gonna say no thanks on that one. Could Spidey right and they might not be able to play anything. Also very true. Yeah, I just misplayed pretty hard, right? I wasn't thinking. It's probably my biggest weakness actually in card games. Just not really thinking enough about what my opponent's doing. I did pull one. I pulled Shuri actually the day she came out. I did not realize at the time how lucky I was. Soulstone mid is very nice. Timestone kind of seems like a waste at this point. So I'm just going to play Storm. So the question is, should I Storm the Sunspot lane? Oh god. Probably.
Wind, aid my hand.
Space Stone and Baku could fill this last spot up later. Let's pray to win the other lane because they look like a Dino deck. Oh, it's okay. I only just realized we have only one turn left. Excuse me. I'm not really sure this made sense. This is dumb. I want to go Lockjaw. Figure I'm probably just playing Arrow though. And this is dumb. This is a bad play on it. Really poor.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
Okay, so they play nothing, and oh no, they are playing something. So the tiebreaker is a loss. So Chavez ain't doing it. We have to just high roll. And Baku going mid would also do it for us now. And Baku mid, guys. Easy. 50-50. Well, it's 1 in 3, actually. It's a 1 in 3, but also, like, if we hit... like a Blue Marvel... Kazar... I definitely regret playing the rocks here. Obviously, if I had one more rock, I could have another roll of it. That's going to be a big fat L. GG. They ain't played nothing. Hey Flop, what's up? I mean, Era should be 6 cost. Even then, she's too strong, probably. I think, yeah, I think me doing a patch notes prediction video is what I'll most likely do for my video later on today. I'm not going to stream for ages because, man, I have so much to do. Like, I want to tidy my room. No stream tomorrow again, remember, guys? No, when I give my room a tidy, I need to hit the gym. I didn't even have time to go to the gym yesterday after all that. Didn't even go yesterday. So difficult finding time for everything, man. I feel like I'm really behind on everything also. Even though I've just, like, honestly never been working as hard in my whole life. But we'll get there. I don't really know what my opponent's doing. You like my lisp? Thanks.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
Shang-Chi's a problem. Would you rather move your big power to the right and Era mid? I can only move one card. So if I move a card to the right, I'm still losing, right? Yeah. Yeah, and also like arrow. If I move a big power card to right, then arrows are swapping with a card in my deck. This is my only line to move the Lockjaw. We lose to Shang-Chi, but that's about it. Or do we lose to Shang-Chi, guys? What a Chad. Yo, Rich, thanks so much for the 11 months. That one's for you. The Khazar and Baku synergy, man. Umbaku, Umbaku, Umbaku. Card is so good in this deck. It's insane. Same opponent. Yeah, Baku's a really cool card. Snap on him? Okay. Uh-oh. I'm not using the tracker. No, I've just not set it up. That's the only reason. I do have a affiliate code for it though. !tracker. If you guys want to download it using my link, I just get $1. I do have a video of it. Yeah, it's like the video on my YouTube that's titled like I got to Infinite. I'll probably revisit the deck and post another video on it because it's kind of interesting. Like, I just didn't get net decked that hard, even though like my version is just better than all the other versions I've seen. And I wasn't sure, so my impression, my gut feeling, and my intuition and my instinct is that Lady Sif Ghost Rider was always incorrect in that deck. But I also was like, maybe this is just like my ego talking, right? Where like I'm just too attached to this deck. But skipping seems pretty bad here. Like I could just see going Blue Marvel and then Arrow last turn. So yeah, like I was like, maybe it's just like my kind of ego, my pride that because like Lady Sif Ghost Rider was something I considered, and I kept telling chat like, nah, it's not worth. And yeah, pretty convinced that is the reality of it. Who needs rocks to disappear? Not me, baby! What deck? The Big Boys Abu deck. I'll show you guys. I mean, we could also talk a little bit about why it's the best build of the deck. Because I hardly got net decked. It's not this. So lots of people added Sif and Ghost Rider, and I've tried it out a lot, as you can tell by the fact it's in my deck builder. So obviously I played Shuri in it, but you really don't need her. Obviously Absorbing Man if you've got it. And I played Shuri, but this could just be Drax. Now if you don't have Absorbing Man, I can kind of see Sif Ghost Rider being worth it, but probably not still. So the reason that this is the deck I built like 2 days after the patch, right? Like this deck's like 3 weeks old at this point. And the idea of this deck is like you draw Zabu, you snap, and you don't draw Zabu, you fold. So what Sif Ghost Rider does is it gives you, and why a lot of people think it's really good, and it is good, it gives you some pretty nice plays when you don't draw Zabu. But who cares? If you don't draw Zabu, the deck is kind of bad anyway, right? So like, okay, it makes the deck feel better, like because on 3 you can go Sif, and then on 4 Ghost Rider, and then 5 you can Spider-Man, but you're still losing, right? What happens is, what I've seen a lot of people do when they play Ghost Rider Sif is they cut a big 6-drop, or they cut a 4-drop. Now this is like the minimum amount of 4-drops you should be playing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 4-drops, which is about the right amount you want, with Dracula in particular. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to end the game with a 6-drop in hand that your Dracula can hit. Now, of course, that can happen occasionally, but usually your Dracula has got like a bunch of big cards and maybe one bad card to hit, right? Yeah, Sif Ghost Rider on 5 is nice, but guess what else? Like, what you actually want to be doing on 5 is you want to be playing Spider-Man in a card, right? Now, the other thing, the big problem I actually have with Sif Ghost Rider, like, while it's good, the ceiling is higher because, yeah, okay, you can summon like an Infernaut. What actually ends up happening is your board space becomes a huge problem. And a lot of the time, you end up being, like, forced to play certain cards you don't want to play, like, beforehand. One of the huge advantages of Zabu is the fact that going into the final turn, your opponent doesn't know where you're playing, right? Your opponent doesn't know where you're playing. So then you can go, like, Dracula Omega Red in the same lane or something like that, right? And then, like, all that kind of stuff. Whereas what happens with when you're playing Jubilee and Ghost Rider, like, your board space is so limited so frequently, it just means your opponent knows where you're playing so often. So, like, you're completely limited in your board, like, in your positioning. And it's like while it's really good sometimes, like when you draw Sif and when you draw Ghost Rider, what actually happens is you have to cut one of these big cards anyway. Then the Dracula's missing way more because you're discarding one of these cards, right? So your Dracula's playing for less points as well. Your sequencing becomes way more janky. The deck is better when you draw Zabu, but it's way less... the deck is better when you miss Zabu slightly, but who cares? Because you're still losing most of the time. And when you draw Zabu, the deck becomes way less consistent. Like, yes, okay, it's got potentially more points, but on average, it's worse. By quite a bit as well. Now, I did some coaching sessions yesterday and the day before. I played probably like 40 games with this deck with, instead of Drax and Rockslide, with Lady Sif and Ghost Rider. And I didn't really climb. And then I switched to this version and I climbed like 40 cubes in about an hour. So, like, I've actually tested it a whole bunch now. And now, yeah, if you don't have Absorbing Man, then I think that Sif Ghost Rider maybe makes more sense, but I still think it's probably not. I still think it's probably not correct. Like, the Shuri in this deck is not necessary. Like, Shuri's not even that good in this deck. Someone said thoughts on Sunspot. So the problem with Sunspot is, like, Jubilee into Sunspot, first and foremost, is so fucking cringe. How many points is Sunspot actually playing for? It's playing for like 3 points. So is it worth Jubileeing into Sunspot? No. First and foremost, it's not. You can also occasionally Dracula into Sunspot, because like you can like thin your Chavez and then you can top deck Sunspot. So you can like Dracula your Sunspot, so that's bad. How many points is Sunspot playing for in a game where you draw Zabu on 3? It plays for 1, and you would have to draw it on turn 1 as well, right? So you draw Sunspot on turn 1, then you skip 2, it's 3 points, then you play Zabu on 3, and then on 5, it's playing for another point. It's playing for like 4 points. Who cares? Sunspot's garbage in this deck. Really, really bad. I don't have Drax or Omega Red. Should I just use like White Queen? Yeah, you just be flexible. Like Drax is whatever in this deck. Like the Omega Red is particularly good. And that's why like a big reason this deck was just farming me cubes as well, is because Dracula is always hitting. Like I'm talking always, guys. 1 in about 50 games. Oh! 1 in about 50 games in this deck, your Dracula's gonna hit like a Rock Slide or something. But like your Dracula is like always hitting a big card. And people do not like respect it enough. Like your Dracula just farms you 8 cube wins, especially with Omega Red combo. Particularly because you can play like flipping Dracula, Omega Red, and another card on the last turn. Rock Slide on 4 is insanely strong against so many decks. Like your opponent's top decking rocks. You have your Spider-Man, Absorbing Man to just farm reliable cubes. What about Shang-Chi? Yeah, I mean you could add Shang-Chi as well, but I don't think it's that good personally. You're often ahead going into the last turn with this build. Like you could definitely play Shang-Chi, but like Jubilee into Shang-Chi. That was a manly voice crack, thanks. Yeah, Shang-Chi hurts your Sunspot. Like Shang-Chi's fine. You could definitely play Shang-Chi. I played against this deck a lot and it feels very bad to play into the Dracula lane, kind of like a 2 energy winner lane. Yeah. What's the counter this deck? There isn't one. This deck's broken. Leech doesn't counter this deck. I mean like counter would be Darkhawk. Like Darkhawk is going to be like the deck which can compete with this one. Hey Lion, great to see you, man. Mate, it's such a banger in it. I'm very lucky that I have a lot of Spider-Man juices. I think I'm leaving it at common because of the white. I actually got this Spider-Man out of a box, like a collector's cache. But then I also treated myself to a Symbiote Spider-Man. It lags a bit at first. But I got this one with the gold back. I was just using the Symbiote, but then this gold background is too spicy. I'm very blessed. As you can see, I like Spider-Man quite a lot in this game. It's one of my favorites. It's a bit too mainstream right now, though, Lion. Guys, if you don't know my friend Lion here, very good friend of mine, really great Marvel's Gwent streamer, in fact. You have the comic that comes from... Well, funny you should say that, because actually I'm looking at picking it up myself. I'm thinking it would be nice for like a little backdrop. I actually spoke to Flake about... Flake last week about trying to pick up. I've never bought a comic before, so... Hope you're doing well, my friend. I'm actually looking at... I've just been speaking to chat about like deciding on where to live. I'm thinking about Manchester maybe at the moment. You have an online comic store? Of course! Yes. Okay, well that's sorted then. Oh man, I need to start plugging that for you, because obviously with the Marvel overlap. Let's have a conversation! Move to Notts? Yeah, a friend of mine lives in Nottingham. I've never been. I mean, I hardly know Manchester either. Portugal is the spot. I'm actually going to be in Portugal in June, I think. What happened to my Poland aspirations? I mean, I still want to go, but Brexit, man, it's so difficult. So, like, probably the plan at the moment, I feel like the issue is if I just flipping if I keep like the Poland aspirations on, I feel like I'm never gonna fucking move. Brexit's killing me. Visas are a nightmare for the Prague move. I'm so sorry to hear that, and yeah, I bet. So that's kind of the thing, right? Like, as much as I'd love to move to Poland, I feel like at this point it's maybe not quite worth the hassle for me. I don't know, it's a tough one. Like, I still want to do it, but that's what I'm saying, right? What I could do is I could just flip in... I could just, move somewhere else in the UK. Like, up north because it's cheaper. I love the North anyway. The North is in my heart. And then move like in a year or two, right, when it's looking a bit easier to do. Not in Baku, dude! What the heck? Digital nomads, Croatia or Portugal? Yeah. Croatia or Portugal do look pretty smooth to move to, actually. I guess we maybe move the Lockjaw. Vibranium Mimes is a bit dodgy with Lockjaw, so maybe we could move it to the right even. But then it's only one card. We're in Prague this year and UK next. Nice one. So yeah, I think for the moment, like the plan is just flip and move to the north of England, man. Just get my own place. Otherwise, like I'm gonna be 27 this year, right? Like it's time, man. Come on. Like I really, really wanted to make Poland happen, but it's so dodgy. Also, like realistically, flipping Brexit's gonna get undone at some point, and in the future it should be more simple. Also, like maybe like a move to America in like, I mean, who knows what's gonna happen, right? But like something like that could definitely be an option in the future. So we'll see. I think just moving to the north of England, just fucking get my own place, man. Like my main concern is the fact, obviously, I don't flipping know people really in Manchester, and that's like why I've like not Manchester and the north. I've not been too convinced by, but like realistically, I'll just meet people in it. Or to Lisbon. I'm actually going to Lisbon, yeah. I've been to Portugal once before, but not too much. So I had to storm this lane. I don't really like it. Because otherwise the storm lane could have ended up here because this was the swap locations one. If I wait till turn 6, you can move to New York. That's a good one. Shuri. So the question is here, what do we do with flipping Arrow? You would imagine they're going to Taskmaster mid, and then Arrow's not really doing too much for us. Perhaps we're supposed to flipping Reality Stone. This is actually the line, isn't it? Wait, what? Turns out this was not the line. This was a bizarre play. And Baku could do it. And Baku could do it, ladies and gents. It's a 1 in 3. I like my chances. And Baku mid does it for us. Yeah, I also wonder if like Germany could be pretty easy to move to. I fear it might not be. Well, they play nothing, so they're looking for their Sunspot grow. We win if it hits mid still. Oh baby, let's flipping go. Let's go. Man, Baku's too powerful, bro. I need to make an Mbaku montage. I think that's on the cards at this point with this deck. My god. Second game in 15 minutes that Mbaku wins for us. Jack, can anyone do me a huge favor and find the timestamp for the other M'Baku win that I had? If you could, I'd really appreciate it. No dramas though. You want 8 cubes using that big boy Zabu that you showed us? I've never freaking with Zabu. Nice. Let's go, Benjamin. Good job. Baku needs negative power. Brilliant. Good meme. Okay, Sherazab's honestly not good news for us. Considering I've already been playing into this. I'm not even sure we should play the Quinjet, right? Like, it's just doing nothing for us. Everything's already free. I'm drawing a lot of cards though, so we'll just play it because it's blocking hand space. That's very kind of them to do that, thank you. So this looks like the janky movement deck. Ah, that's good. That's really, really good for us. Now the Quinjet is doing something. Quinjet is absolutely popping off. Oh, come on. Wow. This deck's OP. We missed the Space Stone, unfortunately. That would have been very nice to find. Oh, hello. Ask and I shall receive. We don't want to move anything here. What are we doing? What are we doing? I could kind of see Lockjaw move being good, but we have the space, then we can move it later. Maybe we just like we actually do this. We move Lockjaw next turn. Well, I don't particularly want a Spider-Man this turn, I must confess. Played this weirdly, didn't I? Very weirdly. Not convinced I played this particularly well, fortunately. Oh, nice. They can't Silver Surfer us. This is GG. This Cosmo screwed them. Unless we hit, like, flipping bar with no name. Oh, God. Go for that. Wait, did I... Is my deck got nothing left? I've got nothing left! Is it good or so-so? It's pretty good. Beast is pretty good in movement, for sure. I ended up preferring Leech instead, though. Fluffy. Beast is definitely solid. It can just be a bit too janky, though. But it can also be amazing. Oh, man. I'm going to try a PB in the bench press today, guys. Pretty exciting. No, there was nothing else in the deck. Ah! Easiest snap of my life. Agatha cannot lose, mate. Agatha always wins. Good job, Agatha. Can't believe this deck is getting cubes without having neither Surfer or Zabu. What am I aiming to hit? Today, I'm going to be going for... 30-kilogram dumbbells. I don't do 1 rep maxes. I just feel like I'll injure myself. I just don't care enough about that. Maybe at some point, if I had like a gym partner, I would maybe consider doing it right on like a Think of Juggernaut instead of Spider-Man. I really like Spider-Man. Spider-Man was the last card I added to the deck, but honestly, it's been smurfing. Like Storm Spider-Man, such a nice combo. This looks like a loss, I would say, this game. Go get yourself gym body. Yeah, I mean, maybe we want to move, right? But I'm big chilling at the moment. I mean, I struggle to see how we're ever winning. Perhaps. This doesn't even look like it would win. It looks like a massive L, to be honest. I could see Leech being the way to do it. Because they Jane Foster and then we cuck their Thor. Giganto. We'd lose the tiebreaker to Giganto. Fortunately, M'Baku's obviously on the board. Gonna run. What? Yeah, but Jug could be interesting. I don't think it's the one. Alright, guys, I'm gonna do a bit of like theory crafting in terms of balance changes. Would love your feedback. What cards, chat? Because I think it's gonna be my video for later. What cards do you think should get nerfed, but also buffed? Okay, nerfs. I'm thinking Aero, 6 cost. Galactus shouldn't interact with death. / null. Banish keyword in brackets. I don't think Leech needs enough, to be honest. Zabu 4 cost. Psylocke. Shuri 5 cost. It's just too powerful right now. I don't think Brood needs enough. I think it's Silver Surfer that needs enough, right? I think Silver Surfer should just buff by 2. Point increase. So how many points should Silver Surfer be? Maybe 1 point or 2 points? Maybe 2 points? Like, the thing is, Silver Surfer only needs to hit 3 cards and it's playing for 9 points. Like, that's insane. 9 for 3 is so good. So if you make it buff by 2, you need to hit 4 cards, and it's already playing for 8 with a 0-point body, which is like above curve. So if you give it like a 2 body, it needs to hit 3 cards. I think you give it 2 points. I think it just has to buff by 2. Sunspot's an interesting shout. Sunspot I could see just being made 1 point, 0 points. Mr. Negative needs a rework. Limits design space. Dark Hawk. Like 5 cost. Or starts at negative. Or yeah, maybe. Or like I think Dark Hawk at 4 cost's fine. The issue is Zabu with Dark Hawk, right? Yeah, I think Dark Hawk 5 cost sounds fine. I think the reason they don't want to make Dark Hawk... Yeah, I mean, even if they make Dark Hawk 5... This is a weird one, isn't it? Like, the thing is, Dark Hawk at 5 isn't so necessary if Zabu isn't busted, right? Lots of these cards are problems in a vacuum. I kind of disagree. Dark Hawk is the first one where it's, I think, a weird one, right? If Zabu was 4 cost, I don't think Dark Hawk... I honestly, like... Zabu being 4 cost, well, that's a huge enough. Like, the card's still going to be really, really strong. Like I say, you can Psylocke into it. It does make it a lot worse. Yeah, I think Dark Hawk, like, should just be less points. Yeah, higher base power, less scaling, or same scaling, less base power. Probably less scaling, but the thing is, you can only do the scaling in increments of 1, right? So it'd be 1 point per rock. Which, like... I mean, honestly, that sounds kind of reasonable because of, like, Subterranea and Thanos as well. Like, the cards are kind of insane. But... So we're making these really rare cards terrible. I mean, no, we're not trying to make things terrible. Like, Shuri at 5 cost is still a serious card. Like, this card is just very... This card is just way too strong. Like, her ability to double points is way too strong for 4 cost. It just is. There's too many abusive things you can do with it at 4 cost because you can play it too early. Like, there's still ways you can cheat her out earlier, right? Like, you could Psylocke on 3 to Shuri on 4. And then skip 5. But, like, there's just too many abusive things you can do with her. Like, you could even increase her power at 5 cost, honestly. But I think Shuri's always going to be... like, the thing is with Shuri, like, how else do you change her? What, you make her have negative power? Well, that doesn't really matter. Because she farts out so many points. The Dark Hawk one, I struggle with. I think maybe Dark Hawk, they just need to, like, start it at negative power, perhaps. Something like that. I don't know if they would want to do that, though. I mean, Mr. Negative is negative power, but he's called Mr. Negative. Is there any other cards? I guess the Hood you play on your side? I think you just, like, starts at negative points. I doubt the scaling change works on it because you're literally going to half the scaling. Or lower scaling, higher base power. Okay, what else, guys? Cosmo, I'm not really convinced needs to get nerfed. And then Galactus can have more power as well. Because there's, like, you can still do loads of things with Galactus, right? It just becomes, like, more interactive. Like, you can Spider-Man on Galactus to win 2 cubes, for example. You know what I mean? Shang-Chi. 10 points, maybe. 5 energy. Less power. Shang-Chi definitely needs a nerf, in my opinion. I know that, like, Second Dinner announced that Shang-Chi is, like, the worst performing card in the game in terms of win rate when it's in your deck. But let's also, like, misrepresenting the fact that it wins so many 8-cube games, right? Because obviously Shang-Chi does brick a lot, sure, but Shang-Chi definitely needs a nerf in my opinion. I also think an interesting thing for Shang-Chi would be that it can hit your own cards. Shang-Chi's just like too strong overall. It shouldn't, like, it's just unnecessarily strong, I think. I don't really see an issue of making like 5 energy, for example. It's not like it's that big enough to the card, really. You just, instead of being able to go Shang-Chi plus... It's also enough to Zabu decks, right? Which I still think like Zabu decks in general need more of a nerf. Leader. I think you just lower its points. Half points over 10. No, I like that Shang-Chi kill stuff. I think it's cool. Nerfing Shang, mate, but like you're overestimating how big a nerf. Shang going from 4 energy to 5 energy is not that big of a nerf. Like for most cards, losing an energy is a huge nerf, but Shang-Chi you play on turn 6 anyway, right? Like you play Shang-Chi on turn 6 anyway. It just means instead of being able to play Shang and a 2-drop, you can play Shang and a 1-drop, which I think is perfectly reasonable. Like, I don't think there's an issue with that. I think that's still very strong. Like, you can play Shang plus Titania on the last turn, right? Someone's mentioned Scorpion. I think Scorpion and Iceman probably deserve a mention. I think Scorpions are pretty simple and you just make it 1 power. Iceman's less simple. I'm not so sure Iceman needs a nerf necessarily. I think Iceman is fine. I think Scorpion can go to 1 power though. Armor doesn't need a nerf. I think Armor's perfectly balanced. Armor's just like seems better at the moment because all these hot locations. I think we'll just mention Death as well. Just because like interaction with basically like destroy keyword should change. To being on the board, not from, or yeah, banish word needed for Lamentis and Galactus and Yondu. Wave doesn't need enough. Deadpool doesn't need enough. Any other cards we think should get nerfed, guys? Yeah, Zabu going to 4 seems like just like the very obvious choice. I mean, let's just take a quick look through all the cards. I think Sunspot could just go to 0 points. I can get behind that, honestly. Sunspot's very, very good. Alright, so if we take a look at all these cards, everything's fine here, I would say. Honestly, guys, I'm going to throw it out there. Chavez needs a nerf. Magneto, I agree, actually. 11 points. Magneto would still see a lot of play at 11 points. Mate, you could make guys, you could make Chavez. Yeah, I guess maybe that's a buff. Not really, though. It's not a buff. Like, how often does she get Shang-Chi'd? Not often. Right, you're playing her on the last turn. Like, Chavez, honestly, I would even argue should be less... I would honestly argue Chavez should be like 7 power. I think the card is so busted, it's insane. Like, you should be really heavily punished for ever playing this card. You should never ever want to play this card with how strong her ability is. Like, I would still play Chavez in most of my decks, even if she was like 0 points. But you would certainly play her in less decks. Do you guys think Infinite could get nerfed? Honestly, I do. I don't think it will. I think they want it at a nice round 20 points, but I've always felt this card is very abusable, and I think like the Dracula decks have kind of shown that. It's fine though. It won't. So in terms of the 6-cost cards, pretty much just Leader, Death indirectly, and I think Magneto getting a point. Chavez should... Yeah, I mean, Dracula is a bit of a problem. Dracula. Like, it's kind of proven that Dracula is like... It needs a counter, right? Like, Enchantress... Shang-Chi... Nothing deals with it. Costs 5 maybe? Maybe. I do like think that Dracula is fine because it's high risk, high reward, but like if you build your deck correctly, like this big boy Zabu deck, I think Dracula's fine though, to be fair. I don't think Dracula needs enough. I think it's just worth a mention that it can be too difficult to counter. Okay, in at 5, Leech probably deserves a mention. I think Leech could lose a point. I don't think there's a huge issue with nerfing Leech to 2 points. I wouldn't be too surprised if that happens. It's like the only logical nerf. Devil Dinosaur. Too many points still, in my opinion, guys. I think it should just like start like 1 base power. 1 or 2. Maybe I just say 2 base power. I think 1, mate, honestly. It's like too strong. Like, if you nerf it to 1, it's still playing for 15 for 5 with a full hand. 13 for 5 with 6. That's still like very good, right? Or 6 energy. Yeah. I think they don't want to make it 6 energy because then you can't play 2 of them with Moon Girl, right? Like, it will stay at 5 energy because of... No. So yeah, I think like... I think more likely, if it's going to get nerfed, they'll just go to 2 base power. So I'll just put 2. Okay, anything else? In terms of nerfs. Like, honestly, this flipping card's interaction with Zola is giga busted. It really is. It won't get nerfed, though. Nothing else here. Everything's good. Obviously, there's buffs, aka Black Bolt. But we'll get onto those. In terms of the 4 costs... We've touched on Negative, Dracula. I don't really see Dracula getting nerfed. We've touched on Shuri. We've touched on Shang-Chi. We've touched on Zabu, which obviously a lot of these cards are interacting with Zabu in weird ways. Everything else is fine. 3-cost cards. She-Hulk's balanced. I really like She-Hulk. 3-cost cards, we've already touched on Surfer. Like, honestly, Mystique, Iron Man, but that's like a Mr. Negative problem. Everything here is fine. I have no issue with Brood. Again, I think Surfer just needs to buff by 2. Definitely would like to see Nakia buffed. Lockjaw. I could see Lockjaw losing a point. Cosmo. I could see losing a point. I don't really think Cosmo needs enough that hard, though. Broodling. Mate, Broodlings being 1 power is such a huge nerf. Guys, remember, you nerf Silver Surfer and Brood is balanced. Do not forget that. Killmonger. Killmonger should surely lose a point. Maybe. Again, it kind of depends on, like... Surfer, though. Like, I'm not really convinced either of these cards need a nerf. So we'll just put Surfer in brackets. Like, if you're nerfing Surfer, these cards also become worse, right? Moon Knight needs a buff. Rhino needs a buff. We won't talk about that. Kingpin needs a buff. All these cards are fine. Maximus. Maximus is pretty strong, but I think it's fine. Again, it's like a Silver Surfer thing, right? Okay, so then 2 costs. Morbius is pretty cracked. Everything here looks very well balanced to me. Scorpion we've already talked about. Falcon needs a buff. Lizard's good. Everything here's balanced very well. Then 1-cost cards, I don't think I have any issues. Nova got nerfed, which I honestly like it. I think Sunspot's like the one outlier. Iceman's a contender to get nerfed, but I don't think it needs to. So that's all the nerfs. I guess I should also just look at the cards I don't have, right? No, this all seems fine. Nah, Quinjet's not too strong. Quinjet's nicely balanced, I think. Okay, so here are all the nerfs. Aero, Galactus Death, Zabu Ashuri, Silver Surfer, Sunspot, Miss Negative, Darkhawk, Shang-Chi, Leader, Scorpion, Iceman. Nah, Iceman's fine. Chavez, Magneto, Dracula I think is honestly fine. Leech, Dino, Lockjaw, Cosmo, Killmonger. These two I'm not really convinced need to get nerfed. I think like the Silver Surfer nerf deals with them. Killmonger, to be fair, is insane. So like I don't really see Cosmo needing a nerf. I think Cosmo's balanced. Dracula comes at like big deck building costs though, right? Cosmo needs a counter? I don't think it does. I think the thing with Cosmo is you can cuck yourself, right? I think Dracula's fine. Isn't Chavez 7 a bit too far? Mate, this card is so broken. This won't happen. She'll stay at 9. But bro, this card is so busted. I cannot even begin to tell you how busted this card is. I'm shocked at how little people play her. She is so broken. It's unbelievable. Like I say, you would play Chavez in a lot of decks if she was -1 in million points. For real. Like, I would predict, give the game a year, Chavez will be 7 power. Yeah, just consistency. Like, if you just look at my decks, look how often I play her. She's in Lockjaw because, like, obviously improves your odds of drawing Lockjaw early, improves the odds of you drawing all your other cards early, and then also, like, you can just cheat her out for, like, good stats of Lockjaw. I play her with Zabu because it's increasing the odds of you drawing Zabu early. I also like her with Sarah because at 1 in 16 games, she gives you Sarah on turn 5 instead of turn 6. She's good here for the same reasons with Lockjaw. She's also good to cheat out of Lockjaw. She's good with Dracula as a top deck. In a deck like Hazmat, I don't play her because like it's like you want a specific card. Like you have to draw it because Hazmat's so bad. But like in most, like the Gambit deck, do I have the Gambit? I think I had her. Maybe I didn't for the same reason. Yeah. It's like very few decks I think she doesn't make sense in, which is like Mr. Negative decks and like massive combo decks where you play Magic, where you're really searching for certain cards. But every other deck I basically put her in. Like Electro deck, she makes sense. Sandman deck, she makes sense because she's increasing the odds of you drawing your cards. Like, you should just be more heavily punished for playing this card. Right now, 9 points is not that bad. Obviously, it's not great. I'm not so convinced for Chavez and Surfer, to be honest. Kill the potential. Yeah, but like that's what everyone says. But like, that's why no one plays it. But when you do the maths, it's 1 in 44 games. It stops you drawing Surfer on turn 6. 1 in 44. That is negligible. Her upsides far outweigh her downsides. Because also another thing with Chavez that people underestimate is another thing people underestimate is that you draw your card a lot of the time with Chavez that you would be drawing on turn 6, on turn 5, which gives you a lot better over snapping. Like you have a much better understanding of snapping, right? So let's say I was going to top deck Surfer on the final turn usually. With Chavez in my deck, a lot of the time I'll draw that Surfer on turn 5 instead, which means I can snap a turn sooner, for example. Again, like 1 in 16 games, it's giving you Serra earlier. It's giving you Storm on 3 a lot more often. All that kind of stuff, right? Card's just giga busted. Okay, so this is the nerfs. Now let's talk about buffs. Crystal. More points, please. We don't need to, like, think about what the buffs are. We just need to talk about the cards that need buffing. Like, for nerfs, it's much easier to just give, like, a number. For buffs, I'd rather just, like, mention cards which could do with a buff. Orca. Agreed. Yeah, I'd like to see Captain America buffed. Honestly, I like it. It's too much of a cool card not to. Mordo, honestly, don't think needs a buff. Mantis. Mantis is really bad. She's like the worst one drop. Honestly, Yondu. Yondu. If death interaction is solved. You could make it mill 2 things, probably. The Watcher. Garbage card. Super bad. Yellow Jacket's fine. I like Yellow Jacket as is. Dagger. Dagger needs a buff. IMO. Falcon. Don't want to skip ahead too much, but Falcon. Adam Warlock's fine. Falcon. Star-Lord. Collector could use a power. I actually agree. I don't want to put too many of these cards in that are like early game cards, like Captain America. Feels like I'm going to remove it. Same with Star-Lord, because they're just like basically starter cards. Falcon's garbage, mate. It needs a buff. It's super bad. Ever since Bishop and... I do want to be a bit like more selective with the buffs. Falcon is so bad. It used to be better, but Collector used to buff by 2 for every card you return to your hand. And Bishop costs less. Maria Hill could get buffed. She's really bad. Quake's fine because of these hot locations. All this is fine. I'd like to see Scarlet Witch get buffed. 1 cost, 1 power. I don't know, like more like the Reality Stone. I don't know. I just don't like Scarlet Witch as she currently was. She used to be 1 cost 2 power, and they changed her to this. Like what? She was too strong at 1 cost 2 power, but at 2 cost 3 power, maybe she's fine. Some people do play Scarlet Witch, to be fair. Probably won't mention her. I would like to see her get buffed, though, to be honest, but I doubt she will. Wolverine? Maybe. That's probably fine. Especially if Galactus gets enough, more people will play it again. Baron Mordo, I think, is fine. It's more Ronan that needs a buff. Green Goblin's fine. Morph is fine. It's just a meme. Could you make Morph 2, guys, do you think? Probably. The thing is, you don't actually want Morph being a serious option as a card, right? That would be the concern. But it's a bit too bad right now. I still think Nikia needs a buff. Another buff. She's still garbage. Really bad. All of this is solid. Captain America could get buffed. It's... like, I don't know. It's very difficult because if you... I don't think you buff Captain America, honestly. Moon Knight, definitely. Rhino. Kingpin, maybe? Can't kill own things. Yeah, Moon Knight should be 2 costs for sure. Like, maybe they changed the power on it. I'm not sure. All this is fine. In at 4, I don't think Sandman needs a buff. I think it's fine as is. I'm not going to put Sandman in. Super Scroll is pretty bad, but it is what it is. Crystal needs a buff of some kind. She's really bad. Namor could get a point. The Thing could get buffed, but I doubt they will. I mean, honestly, the Thing just deserves a buff. It's so bad. It's like one of the worst cards in the game. You just go to 7 points. That's still shite. Human Torch doesn't need a buff. Human Torch is great. Really good card. And then in at 5... I wonder if White Tiger could go to 2 power. I think that'll be pretty interesting. Ronan we mentioned already. All of this is fine. Nick Fury. Maybe 8 point, 8 power or something. Spider-Woman also feels like... I don't want to put too many in. Black Bolt. Spider-Woman's almost good. Maybe she's good in some niche decks, but... And then in terms of 6 costs to get buffed, I could see Onslaught getting a buff. Heimdall I could see getting a point. I think Heimdall should get a point. Helicarrier I would like to maybe see like... not random cards, but like 6 drops or something. When you discard this from your hand, add 3... I would like it not to be random. Maybe like a 4, 5, and a 6 cost. Something like that. Yeah, or I like that. Or reduce their cost by 1. It's kind of interesting. You'll notice like a lot of the card text in Marvel Snap, there's not many cards with a very long card text. So this is already kind of long. What if you take points of Heimdall, but units he moves get +1 power? That's a pretty cool idea. I don't think you need that though. That's a cool idea. Ah. Like, I do think you want Heimdall to actually have points on his own. Because otherwise, like, the right lane is too weak. Like, I actually think that might be a nerf to him. It's a cool idea, though. Nah, Hela's fine. I'm going to delete some of these buffs because I think we have too many. Heimdall's fine. Nick Fury, White Tiger, The Thing, Namor, Kingpin, Rhino, Moon Knight, Nikia, Morph, Ronan, Muriel, Collector, Falcon, Dagger, Watcher, Yondu, Mantis. Ah, these are fine. Orca. Morph. I mean, okay, guys. Theoretically, if Morph is 2 power, are you ever playing it? Yeah, but isn't he still a meme at 2? I'm pretty sure he's still a meme at 2. Power, yeah, 2 power is dangerous territory. 2 costs. I agree. Let's get rid of him. Okay, we can like talk about the buffs, like just like janky ability. Needs more points. More points. Orca, more points. Mantis. Not sure. Rework. Because if you can't buff her. The Watcher starts in your hand. Or works when in deck. I think works in deck is a good one, right? Like, I still don't think the card's that good. But it's suddenly an interesting card. It also makes sense that... It makes sense for the Watcher, right? It just actually makes sense. Like, it's in your deck and it's watching. You get me? That makes sense. Come on. He's there, but you don't know it. That's literally like what the character is, right? So this is like definitely a nice one. Yondu, I think, could like mill too. I don't think that, like, I think Yondu's super bad. Mill 2's a bit risky. It's not that strong. It's not that strong. Otherwise, the card's never going to see play. You could make it 1 point. Mill 2 is broken. Yeah, but Mill's so... Guys, Mill in this game is bad. Like, Mill in this game is not good. Nah, 1 point. If the death interaction is solved, then Yondu is never, ever, ever, ever seeing any play. It is so bad. Same with the Watcher and Mantis. This is why, like, these cards all would need a rework. They're 2 stats for 1. You can't make them 3 stats because then suddenly you just include them in any deck, right? Basically. And that's also kind of the issue with Sunspot. Like, Sunspot's just in so many decks for that exact kind of reason that it's often playing for 3 points. For 2 mil, he'd have to... Nah, I think you guys are really overestimating how powerful milling is in this game. It's 12 card decks. You put fucking good cards in your deck. So if they mill 2 of your things, like, you're destroying 2 other good things. I would see people play Yondu Beast. Yeah, maybe it's just too much. Okay. But, yeah, like, even if you mill their whole deck early. Maybe make Yondu only show the Yondu player what is milled. I guess, like, Yondu just is going to need some kind of synergies, right? Need synergy with something. Need synergies with something. Or... still, like, I don't know. Maybe it could still work with death. If death interaction changes, it will need some kind of buff. Okay, I'll just put it like that. Now, the issue with Dagger is that you can never Doctor Stranger. Iron Fist has too much competition, and it's bad if you don't play Heimdall. So... too bad when you don't play Heimdall. Basically. Falcon, more points. Or something. I don't know. Like, Falcon's just so bad, right? Like, what's Falcon? 3-2? Return your 1-cost card to your hand. You don't want to make him... I mean, I think you just make him 4 points. Like, Cloak's 4 points. And has an ability. And he doesn't see that much play. 4 points. Collector, 2 points, we've said. I should use the word power, right? Let's just make it dagger 2 power. I think Falcon would be more than fine at 4 power. Because like it's important to remember that like Collector's been really heavily nerfed and Bishop's been really heavily nerfed. That's a big reason Falcon is so bad. There's just like no synergies in the game which are good for him. Like Falcon was good before, or at least decent, because Collector buffed by 2, whereas that's been halved. Falcon 4 power I think is absolutely fine. Like Cloak is 4 power with a really cool upside and doesn't see any play. Maria Hill. The big issue with Maria Hill is 1-cost cards are really garbage. I don't really know how you make this better. I don't really know how you make Maria Hill better. Add a Quinjet to your hand. Nah, I think Maria Hill's way too bad. There's way too many terrible cheap cards. I kind of like the idea. Add a Quinjet to your hand. I mean, I don't know if she has any flipping... They won't change her. Maybe we just get rid of Maria. She's not that bad. I think she's too difficult to change. She's pretty bad, but we'll leave her. I think she's mainly just seen as really bad because she costs tokens right now. You know what I mean? Ronan, I think it could just get a point on it, basically. Nakia, 3 power. I kind of just hate Nakia's ability in general. Because cards you like bounce back to your hand. Like if you put her at 3, she can play for 9 points for 3, which sounds like a lot, but you know. Like this card's just garbage, man. It's so bad. It's so janky. Yeah, I could kind of see Nakia like less power but hitting 3 cards actually. What, she just buffs whole hand +1? Well, she used to buff the whole hand by +2, can you believe? And then I think they changed her to buffing everything by 1. Like they've changed this card a lot, but I don't like the current ability. Yeah, Nakia was busted for a while. I honestly just don't like her ability. Buff whole hand by 1. That's something. Oh, she was giga busted. Oh, mate, you guys should have seen Nova. Nova used to buff the whole board by 2, bruv. Think about that. I really don't like her current ability. It's super janky. Like, I'd love to be able to play her with, like, multiple mana and stuff. Obviously, the fact you can't target stuff is the issue. Janky. I'm just going to put janky current ability. Needs targeting. Somehow. Because, like, you want to be able to buff Swarm. You want to be able to buff multiple man, but you can't. You just have to pray that, like, your Swarm and multiple man are in the certain positions in your hand, and then that you actually draw, you know, it's so janky. Make a buff lane you play her in. It doesn't really work, right? You can't have targeting. Well, so, like, and, like, it will be too much text of, like, left lane, buff your leftmost card. Right lane, buff rightmost cards. Middle lane, buff 2 random cards. It'll be too much text, I think, right? Make a buff lowest cost card. That's kind of interesting. I prefer that. Buff lowest cost cards. That's interesting, because then you could, like, try and target Swarm, for example. Yeah, they're not going to make targeting specific, but this is an interesting way of doing it, right? No, I think it's like the lack of targeting is a very conscious choice. because it's a mobile game, right? It's like the lack of card text, the simple card text, the simple decks, the quick pace, the lack of targeting is all yeah, again, like the ability to rearrange cards in hand is just it's not gonna be a thing, right? It's gonna be too flipping complicated. Discard needs to be giving you 2 cards to choose from. That would be very OP. The cards are balanced around that, around the fact that discard's random, right? Okay, Rhino. So Moon Knight 2 cost is fine. You just like there's no 2 cost card, like too many. I've given this feedback as well. Too many 3 cost discard cards right now. Rhino. What do you guys think on Rhino? Like Rhino's just weird. It's so much worse than Scarlet Witch, than Storm / Scarlet Witch. It's so much worse. So just like give it a point. Okay. Namor is so bad. How many points is it right now? I mean, honestly, I would say this could get +7. I don't even think like. I think it needs 2 points to be a serious card. I really do. Yeah, or maybe make him 3 cost. 4/4 that gets +9. Nah, Namor's one of the worst cards in the game. This card is really, 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 really bad. I think you have to give it +2. I think it needs to be playing for 12 points minimum. Yeah, I think like buffing it 12 points still bad? Question mark. No, I like Namor and Orca, but they're like these cards are just not good enough right now. So, how many points does Orca currently play for, guys? Isn't there some kind of card which like I think there's some kind of card in the work which like buffs these cards, but it's not out yet. So maybe so this plays for 14. Oh my, it's so bad. This needs to be 16 points, right? I think they both can have +2. Okay, what else have we got here? We've got the Thing. I mean, just make it 7 points. Simple. Black Bolt. Heimdall 9 points. And Black Bolt. What did you do with Black Bolt, guys? I mean, just... Nick Fury can just go to 8, I think. Did we write that already? Yeah. Get the power of the discarded card. That's pretty interesting. I quite like the idea of like giving him the power of the discarding the highest cost card. I mean, I think it would also be nice if like Black Bolt buffed, e.g. your Morbius, right? Both players maybe, for example. Like you want to, like he needs to have some discard deck synergy, right? So discard both players, lowest cost. Because that gives him like extra points in your deck because of Morbius. Both players discarding makes him too similar to Moon Knight. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so let's not go for that. So like, yeah, maybe just make him a 4-cost card. I don't know. Yeah, I think highest cost. I think honestly, I like the highest cost. The sound of the highest cost. I think it seems pretty reasonable, right? But it's kind of then like it's like a leech with more power, but worse, right? Or 4-cost, less power. Cool. All right, guys. Nice. I might actually play a game of flipping Overwatch. I think I've not played Overwatch in like weeks. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, I'm gonna end the stream there. But if you guys want to watch some Overwatch on my Twitch, feel free to come hang out. Thanks guys on YouTube. I'll be posting my Patreon video later. Thanks for the help.